Okay, look, I'm sorry. I've been putting this off for forever and ever. So let's talk about the knockoff Evol driver. So the build driver, like I said, is the knockoff version of the Evol driver and was created by Shinobu Katsuragi, but fully completed by his son Takumi Katsuragi. In the TV series, Sento/Takumi, Ryuga, Kazumi, and Shinobu has used this driver, while Gintoku decided to use it in a Hyper Battle DVD. And Killabus and Blood respectively used this driver for their evil Blood Clan shenanigans in the movies. The driver is apparently made super resilient, made with materials strong enough to handle even high temperatures and impacts. According to Sento, you need to have a hazard level of at least 3 to transform using a build driver. Users who don't meet these requirements receive an electric shock by the driver's anti-theft system, and since the build driver is part of the Rider System project of this series, this allows anyone who can use it to progressively grow using the belt. That just means as long as you meet the requirements to use the build driver, there's a chance the more you use it, the more you can progressively get stronger as you fight on some Broly 2019 type. Working in conjunction with full bottles, this allows the user to transform into a powerful armored rider form when using the driver. The standard approach is to place 2 full bottles into the slots, then spinning the crank on the right side. The crank should generate enough power needed to pump the full bottle's essences into the form of 2 different colored half-bodied armor parts generated within the tubes. These tubes that they just remind me of like Gunpla model kits and stuff, help bring the armor together, completing the transformation. When using the build driver this way, going for a best match, which is a combination of 2 matching full bottles, is the most ideal strategy. Any other form you make that isn't a best match is called a trial form, and although they do not have as much output of power as a best match would, a clever enough fighter can use them to help keep up with any opponent and have them guessing. If you're lucky and happen to have a build driver Sento made, then it should be modified to announce a best match, should you make one. It's a feature the driver didn't really have originally. Cause like Shinobu did it and he put like rabbit, tank, and he just like cranked the belt and nothing. That was kind of like depressing. Now we have folks who use devices with slot adapters and extra attachments. These folks usually only have 1 full bottle, but these devices that they have serve to amplify that 1 bottle's capabilities. So when the transformation process starts, they just put the device in instead of 2 full bottles. But because that device is there, whenever the crank generates, it may generate something completely different than the cool tubes. Now, some devices like the Cross Sea Dragon allow for a similar fashion transformation to using full bottles, but changing it just enough to make it feel unique, so it's still tubes, but it's like a tube variant. Other devices like the Magma or Blizzard Knuckle submerge their users into a different, unique form of magma or liquid respectively whenever the crank is activated. And just to be clear, that although it may look different upon activation, they all still work the exact same way. The last thing to talk about is what happens when you turn the crank again. If the crank is turned again, a finishing move called the Vortex Finish is initiated. Different forms that use this driver may call it something slightly different, but I assure you they are still within the same category. Although it's never really said in the series, I theorize that the driver seems to generate a powerful pump of the full bottle's presence, then converts it into energy, then passes that through the suit, which allows a rider to do a mollywop of whatever they choose. So it could be a mean ass punch, a mean ass kick, or done in conjunction with a weapon finisher called the Vortex Break. So sit on all this until I do full bottles. But if you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to give me a like, subscribe to the channel for more Kamen Rider and Super Sentai goodness. In the comment section below, let me know if you could make an attachment to the build driver, what would it be? And what would it let you do extra? Like what would your thing be? Like it doesn't have to be tubes or a furnace or something. Me, I just want it to be like a big bong. Well, other than that, big pimpin', I'll see you later. I'm Lambo Calrissian, reminding you guys to keep calm and toku on. And guess what? I got a knockoff Evol driver too.